Hey everyone, I mentioned that I was going to make some videos with some old ingredients. We already got a lot of powdered milk, and now we got sugar, so we can make certain things we cook a little more genuine. People have said in the past when I make different things, like I made different mac and cheeses and stuff, and it requires sometimes milk or something. Well, we got old milk, we got milk from the 50s and the 60s that we can use to try to make these recipes more genuine. Now we have 2 boxes of sugar right here. This one right here is from the 1970s, and this one right here is from the 50s or maybe early 60s. I'm not sure. I'll give you guys a close-up look at both of these boxes, and for the most part, this one feels very, it's not even stuck together. I thought I was going to get sugar. It absorbs decades worth of moisture in the house, and it's just going to come out as a hard block. And sugar, I always predicted if I found a box of it, it would be in usable condition, but you'd have to crush it again because it would have turned into a big sugar cube. But this one's got plastic around it, and it still sounds perfect. That's awesome. This other one has a slow leak, but what box of sugar, what bag of sugar never has a bag, or what box of sugar doesn't leak? Like, you go into the supermarket, they got a pallet of sugar, it's all over the floor, it's all over the shelf. They leak. It's always been that way. But we're going to open this and try to put it in a mason jar. It's got a little spout, but I don't think it's going to come out of that spout. I think we're going to have to open the top and pour it out. But yeah, this could maybe make some recipes more genuine. I recently made a cornbread video. It didn't say I had to use sugar, but it said for Southern style, you'd want to add a cup of sugar, and I believe that was 1970s cornbread. And we got 1970s sugar now. Maybe we can do this in certain recipes leading into the future. All right, let me give everyone a close-up look. So here's a close-up look at these products. Both of these sugar companies are still in business. The first one right here, from the 50s or maybe early 60s. It's very hard to date something like this. This company opened in 1909, and just by the graphics, I'm assuming it's 50s. Who knows? It could be older, but it's in extremely good condition for its age. It's hard to date something like this because the company's been open since the early 1900s. It could be from the 40s, but it's definitely not newer than 1963. And that's because it doesn't have a zip code. It's got small stains. For the most part, it's in very good shape. Now just look at the price. So just the price right there could maybe help us determine how old this is. So these days you can buy sugar. You can buy a pack of sugar at the Dollar Tree for only $1.25. Now, we gotta think about the inflation right here. I just recently made a video. I know 14 cents in 1920 is now $2.20. So, definitely not that old. You're not gonna pay probably $2 for this thing. Actually, you might in a supermarket if it's a name brand. But I know the Dollar Tree, you wouldn't be buying something for that price. So, just thinking about that inflation right there. Yeah, it definitely adds up. Probably 50s, maybe 40s. But I'm going to make sure it focuses in case anyone wants to read anything. All right, now how well is it going to open for us? This little spout. Might need more than one hand to do this. Probably. I don't have nails. I'll do that after. Alright, now the other one. This one's a bit newer. Thinking 70s. Possibly the 80s. Take a good look at it. Definitely not as old. See, got the zip code, so that means definitely older than the 60s. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and open it on up. The old one first. Okay, there we go. Little spout. Yeah, I can see right off the bat there's chunks in there. It looks like mothballs. But we still got some that's powdered. I don't know, maybe we can crush it in the box and get it out. Maybe. It definitely broke up some of the chunks. That's looking pretty good. Look at that. 70, maybe 80-year-old sugar. Okay, the big chunks are starting to clog up the chute. All right, we're gonna have to open it a different way. Wow, this is fine powder. Still tastes good. This is gonna be a tough box to open. Let's get my knife out so we don't cause too much damage to the box. Maybe we'll open it from the bottom because the bottom's actually wanting to open a bit. Yeah, that's opening nice on the bottom. There's those big chunks. Ooh, it's actually gonna fit in one mason jar, it looks like. What do you think? Is the other 1970s, 1980s sugar gonna be darker or lighter in color? There's always gonna be a little difference. Yeah, it's gonna fit. Look at this little chunk. Still tastes pretty good. You can definitely taste very slightly the person's house it was in. But that's normal. Things that are this old are going to absorb weird smells. We're going to have to label that so we don't forget what it is. This is making me sticky already. Look at that. Look at all the powder still left in there. Still, look at that. It's like sticking to the insides of the box. We don't want the ants to find this when the weather gets nicer. Here's another one. Will it fit in there? Might. Now this one feels a lot looser in there. Can we open it up? Let's see. I don't actually see a difference in color. This one's definitely a lot more fine. That plastic around it helped it stand up. Plus, this one's almost twice as old. Now, we're getting a lot more out of this one. We gotta open it up somewhere. Do it from the bottom again. Tastes different. Somehow that one's sweeter. At least in my opinion. We're not going to bother getting another mason jar. Ooh. We can't get these mixed up. I gotta get a marker, label these. All right, we got that all cleaned up. Do you know what I just realized? Okay, so this is what I was talking about as far as making products a little more genuine. You see this? We got the 1950s sugar. Now, what's cool about having the 1950s sugar is we have also got right here the 1950s. I think this was 50s. It may have been 40s coffee. And we also have 1953 powdered milk that still tastes good. See that? You can use that milk as creamer. Now we got sugar and we got coffee, all from about the same time period. I do believe this was the 40s when we opened it up. I believe that was the 1930s coffee, and we have the 1980s coffee, which I'm pretty sure this is 80s. It might be 70s, but the more and more I look at the package, I think it's 80s. Yeah, so we now have 80s sugar, 80s coffee. We don't have 80s powdered milk, but we do have, this is 1960s powdered milk, the ones that aren't labeled. That's ultra powdery. It looks absolutely perfect. These other ones have a little yellow tint, but it tastes exactly the same, which is super cool. So what do you think? Should I make another coffee video? It's not really gonna taste any different, I don't think. Although these powdered milks I thought were absolutely delicious. They were really, really good. I like those actually better than regular milk. Someone in my comments told me to get a throfter to help it mix a little better, because these were pure milk. No preservatives, no chemicals. These days you buy powdered milk, it's oftentimes going to have emulsifiers, which are not good for you. It helps it mix. This stuff, older stuff, it's hard to mix into the water because it doesn't have emulsifiers. But that actually makes it more healthy for you. So we're going to leave the sugars over here somewhere. Yeah, we're starting to get a collection. We got jars of Tang. We also have all these 1950s, I believe they were, out of that big tin right there. Candies, a bunch of different coffees. We're starting to get quite the collection there of mason jars. I hope today's video was interesting, everyone. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.